Good day, movers and shakers, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Moving Mountains podcast. I am Kerece.
And I am Jordane, and we are your insightful and inspiring host who will be guiding you through what promises to be another fantastic episode.
So buckle up, we're going up.
In this episode, we'll be focusing on patience, an area where so many of us struggle. And I believe at times us as believers can project walking with the Lord in a way that doesn't quite represent the truth.
Yes, you opened up about the things you contemplated when the Lord called you. You said based on how Christians presented serving God, it would seem as if the hardest thing you ever had to do was resist the urges of sexual immorality.
Certainly, as I wrote in my book titled Built to Stand, I felt that would be the hardest part of my spiritual journey. But now I can say the hardest thing I ever had to do was wait upon God. His timing is certainly not our timing.
Amen. Patience is essential in every area of the believer's walk.
But what is patience?
Patience is a virtue.
A phrase that we use quite casually without fully understanding the depth of its meaning. But patience goes beyond just waiting. It's an attitude that is maintained while you wait. We know patience is important, but what role does patience play in our lives? Let's have a look at Luke 8 verses 14 and 15.
And that which fell among thorns are they, which, when they have heard, go forth, and are choked with cares and riches and pleasures of this life, and bring no fruit to perfection. But that on the good ground are they, which in an honest and good heart, having heard the word, kept it, and bring forth fruit with patience.
So the Lord was explaining the parable of the sower. But out of this, we're looking at the importance of bringing each fruit, each deposit from the Lord to maturity. If we lack patience, then we will not bring forth that which God has planted within us.
So we can bear fruits, but they are not brought to perfection. Let's analyze a natural fruit tree, full of blossoms and young fruits, but then bringing none to maturity. It's of no use to the owner of the tree, is it?
Amen. Great analogy, Kerece. It takes patience, as the Lord is the one who prunes us, nurtures us, and causes us to grow. It's in God's timing and doing too.
We've seen the role of patience in our lives. If we ought to be perfected or bring anything to maturity, we must rely on God's will, and His will is that each believer be brought to maturity in Him. How about a Bible character who has displayed patience while walking with God?
One that immediately comes to mind is Abraham, commonly known as the father of faith. He started out being impatient, but over time walked in patience. He was promised a heir while being childless. God even referred to him as a father of many nations while still being childless, and his wife Sarah barren. Time was going, his body was dying, his wife was still barren, and so they decided to help God. Though they were impatient, it also was a lack of trust in God. They tried their methods that still failed, and they still had to wait upon God and His plan. Finally, the promise arrived. Isaac was born, and Abraham now learned that waiting upon God actually works better when he refrains from interfering with the Lord's plan.
We can all learn something from Abraham's experience. Those who wait upon God will never be ashamed, as Isaiah 49 verse 23 says.
Also, while we wait upon God, He will sustain and renew our strength. He continues to refill us for our individual and corporate journeys.
He gives strength unto the faint and reassurance to those who become weary. While you wait upon the Lord, be of good courage. Hebrews 10 verse 30 to 36 says, So do not throw away your confidence, it will be richly rewarded. You need to persevere so that when you have done the will of God, you will receive what He has promised. Thank you for joining us in our 5th episode of Moving Mountains. Join us next week, same time and same place for another exciting episode.
Follow us on Instagram at Moving Mountains GA and join us next week for another enlightening episode.
Until next time, keep moving upward and onward.
This episode was recorded by Jack Sterro Productions.